Ball game, so if you need to turn in your book to page 104, number 71, you can fill in the Cubs, the Sox, the Ravens, the Pirates, whoever you want to. Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Rooting for the Padres, if they don't win, it's the same. Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. That's number 57, R-O-T-A-R-Y. On page 80. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, their office most to serve the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that's spells Rotary.
Good job. Boy, you're all in tune today. This is phenomenal.
All except for me.
Well, that's okay. Well, here we are, the most powerful man in all of Rotary, Rick Mangus. You have someone here to take for you?
I'm going to do it myself. There's a few people here.
Okay.
And they're all eating. Orville, you know the verse that takes me out to the ball game? You know how it starts or anything?
Yes, I think I can hope that.
Did you recite a couple syllables?
Sure. Take me out to the ball game.
The verse.
Oh, no.
You don't know that?
No.
You don't know the verse about Kelly Kelly?
No.
Kelly left baseball games. Knew the players knew all their names. Okay, come on, force it. And you call yourself.
I'll study that next week.
So, Chris, what do you do? prayersrus.com? Is that where you send prayer?
I am not a spontaneous speaker. I have to write these things out right at once. And I figured at 4 lines I was probably going to be fine, but if I didn't, you'd end up with a half a minute of me wandering around going, bless us all.
John's the only one allowed to do that. Then you have to quote him with this when you do that. Right, John? Okay.
Also, I was chasing to do so.
Darn right. So, PEG, PP, PE.
That's back there, I don't know, whatever.
A guest you have a guest you
I have a guest. The world-renowned, ever famous. I have some more things to say about him. I'll say Bob Kurtz is here.
Hi. And we generally find our guests. We do? But John's going to pay for it. John will pay for it. Dr. Whitfield, we haven't seen you in many, many moons.
I've been in your new location.
Well, we are happy to see you. Next week we make 2 in a row if you get back.
We're glad to see you.
We are. Would you introduce your guests again?
I have Suraj, he's a 3rd-year medical student, high school medicine, for training with me.
That's right.
Mathematician. And this is Ticker she's been with me for a month and a half or 2 now. She's actually seen my nurse practitioner, my last medical student, and this medical student, she's been here so long. And she's the same year student, going to be starting medical school in about 5 months.
Great. Well,
Can we hear her name again?
Her name?
Tickerty.
Hi, Tickerty. Could we get some assurance that you folks, when you finish your training, will come back to Rensselaer, because we are grossly underserved here in Rensselaer. That's our doctors. Okay. Green, good to see you. President of County Council, right? That's true. What's they call it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, full tax shooter.
$60.
Very good.
And may I be the first to say that the Cubs and Sox are currently tied for the best record in baseball. Is that not right?
That is absolutely true.
Nobody's ahead of them and nobody's behind.
I'm sure as the season goes by, do we need to take a poll? How many Cubs fans we have here? Do we have any Sox fans?
Sure.
Chicago fans.
That's right.
Yeah.
Non-committal, a lot of non-committal.
Fairweather Cub fan?
Oh, Yes, yes, yes.
It hasn't been fair weather for Cubs for
No,
years.
I know
All years.
it. Thank you, Hubert. Oh, yeah, $50.
He's gonna do something,
Hey, that,
self-serving advertising.
Oh,
yeah, the Relay for Vermont is coming up. St. Joe College on, June the 21st, starting at noon to 8 o'clock the next morning, June the 22nd. I have some of these, advertisements and some cards to fill out if anybody wants to be a part of the Relay for Life. I know that's, money collected to fight cancer. All of us has had friends, co-workers, or so forth that have succumbed or suffered from cancer. My daughter and wife recruited me to help this year as a cancer survivor because I had prostate cancer in 2005. So if any of you are interested in helping, I have literature here to pass out. I'll have it for several weeks, because we're a couple of months away. And I do have a letter for members and reinforcements and Jim's Trusty Hardware before they leave, as well as the radio station in Rensselaer, Republican. I'll be passing out this afternoon. 2 minutes is about left, so it'll be after the meeting. If any of you are interested, we're hoping to raise a minimum of $60,000.
Wow, that's great. That's good. Where's it gonna be at,
St. Joe College.
St. Joe College, great. Thank you, Orville. Any other reports from, committee?
I'll make Councilor after let Councilor know the road here to people not being followed.
Hey, Fred. Just keep adding that. Anybody else want to donate to the pig? It's getting, it never gets fatter. I don't understand that. My name is John Belvich, past president and incoming, I'll be president in July. Our esteemed president won't be here today, but he asked me to send his regrets, and so I get a chance to speak. As a past district governor, I may go on for another half hour, but I promise I won't do that because we have a special guest here today. I do have a couple of points of interest. One was we attended the president-elect training seminar, and Chris, our president nominee, went there and they had special nominee training. And do you want to say just a couple of words on that?
Sure. One of the fun things about Rotary is I get to be a guinea pig one, which is, as most of you know, is kind of my thing, so that's okay. This year they did the Rotary Leadership Institute training test, which is something they've never done before, and they decided, hey, we'll try it once and see what happens. So they introduced us to a lot of programs that are going to be coming up next year, and a lot of stuff that I honestly think that clubs need to be enthusiastic about. You'll hear more about that as we go along, but there's several different proposals and several different things that Rotary is trying to do that I really think everybody's going to be excited about.
Well, that'd be a good president. You get right off. We did learn something special. Our president-elect is from Taiwan. We learned a lot of Chinese and we learned the happy clap. So be prepared to learn the happy clap. You'll all know it by the time I'm done being president. So just be aware of that.
Don't cure that.
What's that? My hearing is real bad, unfortunately.
What'd you say?
Several points of interest. District conference is coming up on, by the way, at the president-elect training, I thought I'd be special because I was a past district governor. I found out that there are 3 of my cohorts that are going to be presidents coming here in the Pence area. So 3 other district governors, past district governors will be presidents of their club. District conference is April 24th and 25th. There's going to be a vote as they do on the Friday business meeting. And it's always important. I'm sure we'll be represented. I know I'll be there. I'm not sure yet if the president will be there, so we'll see. But Judy Walker, past district governor, who's currently the trainer, does a great job, by the way. Is going to serve as our representative on the Council on Legislation for 2016. That's her name is nominated for that. We have to agree on that. Also, they've offered the name, this is something new, Governor Egan they now have, they're going to put a new office in place called the Vice Governor. The Vice Governor, and that is a past district governor. In the event that the governor is not able to continue their term in office, instead of passing it up to the person behind them, which is trying to organize their year, they're going to give that office to the past district governor, and Jim Jesselnick's name has been presented to that. Jim Jesselnick was the governor before me. Floyd Lancia, who's the governor after me, is going to be the chairman of the PES. Somehow I got missed. I don't know what's going on there, but I get to be president. And the name put up for governor for the year 2017 and 18 is another one of my presidents from my year. Lisa Waterman, who's a really dynamic person from the Fort Wayne Rotary Club. We're really excited about her. She's really good at karaoke, so you'll probably hear about that. I had some other things to talk about, but I'm not going to say anything more because I think we have a really special guest. I know we're really excited about the idea of baseball season finally being here. And when I heard that we're going to have the baseball coach from Rensselaer, I thought it'd be appropriate that I ask my dear friend, longtime person who's been in this community forever, graduated from school here, former champion at Curtis Creek Country Club. He's won an award, a broadcast award in the state, recognizing him for his excellence in play-by-play baseball, the coaches throughout the state. He's been with the radio station. I met him on a golf course at Curtis Creek, and somehow I got him hired. He does not only sports, but he writes the news. He fills in for Bob Burke, gets there early in the morning, and it's all about taking care of the radio station very well. And he knows a lot about baseball, and he knows about the coach. So he's going to introduce the coach for us. Please welcome Bob Kurtz.
First of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the meal and all that. Thank you, John, for the kind words. Our special guest today, I've known him for 3 years now. Graduated from went to school in Illinois, I believe, high school there, and came to St. Joe to play baseball for Rick Odette for 4 years. He was a relief pitcher. Not a flamethrower, I guess, right? No, not a flamethrower. So anyway, but a quality college pitcher for the Pumas, who's had great years under Coach Odette. Went to a national championship game, I believe, back in the 90s. But Ed Schluter is our guest today. He's a Rensselaer Central varsity baseball coach, 3rd year there, 2nd year as a teacher, I believe, at Rensselaer Central, and he just went from, I believe, went from college right to coaching, right? Yep. So that's quite a transition. That says a lot for Ed to be able to do that, and I think he's heading in the right direction. There's a lot of people out for the team this year. In fact, he had to make cuts for one of the few times. Baseball teams usually don't make cuts. Usually you want more people to come out, but the interest is there, and the youth interest is there at the youth level too for Rensselaer baseball. RBI baseball is strong, and he's doing a good job. I think the Bomber baseball program is on the rise because of Ed and his enthusiasm. If you ever go out to a baseball game, if all the baseball players were enthusiastic as Ed was, has a little run into the umpires occasionally, right, Ed? Occasionally, but I don't know what's happened with the IHSAA in the Bombers. So for years they were in Class 3A, and in baseball, the top team in Class 3A is Andrew. They win state championships almost every year. Well, finally, we got a break this year. Rensselaer dropped down to 2A. So we got North Newton and North Johnson, Winnemac, and Delphi in with there. But then all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, I believe, guess what happens? Central Catholic comes into Rensselaer sectional this year, the 5-time defending state champion in Class A, because of the rule change. They have to go up, and now, unfortunately, they're in Rensselaer sectional. So, Ed, I don't know what you did to kick off the IHSAA, but something going from Andran to Central Catholic, that's I don't know, but he'll talk more about that. You got some exciting things this year. We're going to promote myself here. We're going to be broadcasting from the Steel Yard this year. Rensselaer is going to be going up to the U.S. Steel Yard in Gary to play North Newton, middle of April. So it'll talk more about that. They have a high school baseball challenge every year, which involves a lot of Northwest Indiana teams, and Rensselaer and North Newton are part of that this year. The only local teams I know that are going to be playing up there. So program's on a good solid base, good youth program. I think it's a lot to do with our guest speaker today. Welcome, Ed Schluter.
Thank you for having me. I really was looking forward to coming and doing this. I've been trying to find a few ways for the past 2 years of coaching to try and get the team out into the community a little bit more. Try to spread the word about our program and just try to get some of the enthusiasm back for baseball in the area. Being a St. Joe graduate, I really wanted to give back to the community, and I think through my teaching and through my coaching, hopefully we can make that happen. But you know, I come from an area where baseball is a very large sport. I come from a much larger city than this in Northern Illinois, from Rockford. But I would like to try and bring that enthusiasm that my town had to Rensselaer. I remember playing games in front of crowds of 500-600 people, and I know we're not used to that around here just because of the smaller locale, but I'd like to make it grow. And over the past couple of years, I have seen crowds get a little bit bigger, so that's an upside. So once again, thank you for having me here. Going into this year, being my third year, we're looking extremely well. We've only had a week worth of practice, and now we're kind of on a down week due to spring break. Had a lot of guys go on spring break, so out of our 27 players, we only have about 10 left here in town. But what I've seen so far in the week of practice that we have is we should be very successful. We have a lot of returners coming back. We have roughly about 7 or 8 seniors on the team who all have quality playing time at the varsity level. We have 2 guys who are now going into their 3rd year as varsity starters, and we have a lot of young guys who are also vying for playing time and positions at the varsity level as well. We got a couple of sophomores who are really pushing to try and make an impact at the varsity level. But I believe we're going to be very successful. Like Bob said, we got moved into a new sectional due to the rule changes at the state level. We dropped down to a 2A team instead of a 3A team. Fortunately, Lafayette Central Catholic got moved right after state championship over the summer. They got moved up because they've been so successful at the 1A, and Winamac was dropped from our sectional due to their shrinking size, I would say. And that is a tough team that we're going to have to play, but from personal experience, it's a lot better than playing in Drain every year, who seems to not know how to lose a sectional game. So I think last year was the first time they've actually gotten a run for their money. Is the team that knocked us out of sectional took it to extra innings and lost by 1 run. So I think that says a lot about our team, and only losing really 2 key impact players from last year, we have a really solid base with what we're trying to do. The other part that I'm trying to instill into the baseball program is not just about winning games. And I think this comes from the educational part of me being a lifelong baseball player, is I strongly believe that the game of baseball teaches you a lot about life. Life has its ups and downs, and so does the game of baseball. I tell my guys every year when they come in that baseball is known as a game of failure, where the best players fail 7 out of 10 times. And they succeed 3 out of 10 times, and they get put in the Hall of Fame. They get a bronze plaque with their face on it. At our level, I've yet to have a guy who is even close to getting drafted professionally. I have a couple of players that I've coached here in the last couple of years that are at the college level and have those aspirations. but I believe it's my job as a sport is, yes, we're out there to have fun, but if I can teach the kids just a little bit on how to handle their life after baseball, that's really what I want to try and achieve. And for the last 3 years, I've been trying to institute things that focus on not necessarily the outcomes, because I tell the guys every day that, you know, you can focus on, yeah, you want to hit 400, and yeah, you want to strike everyone out, and sometimes you don't control any of that. The biggest thing I've been harping on this year is focusing on the process, on how do we achieve the goals that we want, but playing a smaller game within a game. And that's not looking at just wins and losses. That's looking at every single pitch and trying to hit every pitch and do what we can, and focusing on what we can control and not what we can't control. When I tell the guys, all right, do you control your batting average? They say, well, yeah, we put the ball in play. Yes, that's true, but if you've watched any baseball at all, everybody knows that there's always that one hit that you just smoke through the outfield, someone makes a great play, and you're out. And you know, you might have 3 or 4 of those in a game or in a weekend series. And on paper, it looks like you went 0 for 4, but I'm trying to change the mentality of them looking at it, not saying going 0 for 4. I had quality at bats, I hit the ball as hard as I could, and I gave my team a chance to win. And that's the kind of mentality I think not only do we need on the baseball team, but we need more of those mentalities in the real world as well. And that's what I'm trying to convey to these guys. So we have a lot of meetings where we just sit down and talk about mentality and what we're trying to do. And a lot of guys have taken that. I've seen them take it into the classroom. And that they try their hardest, and we know if they do their absolute best, they put in the work, and they're focusing on the process, then the results will come in the end. And that's the big thing that we're trying to focus on this year. And I think that will allow us to be extremely successful on the baseball field, and hopefully help these guys be extremely helpful. I can't tell you how much it means to me when the day that practice started, Monday, I got a voicemail from a player that graduated under me last year, and I know these are very cliche things, but he left me a voicemail in the middle of the day telling me good luck with practice, knowing the practice started today. He was not an all-star standout player. He was actually a troublemaker when I got here. He was in and out of trouble at school, ran into a little trouble with the law, and really didn't have a whole lot going for him. And then finally, when I came in, he was a very borderline player, probably could have got cut my first year, but the type of attitude the kid had. Yes, he's a troublemaker, but he was always happy. He was never the kid who was down on himself, always looked at the positive side of things, and I kept him around for those reasons as a junior. And I kept him around last year. He ended up being one of our leaders, even though he wasn't playing every game. He was a kid who really just did what he could for the team. And he left me that voicemail saying good luck, and if there was anything that I could or that he could do to help out the team, he would be more than happy. And I'm very proud to say that he's actually going to business school in Lafayette, and he's going to college, getting a degree. He wants to run a business. His mother owns a restaurant down in Wookett that he hopes to eventually take over and make the business grow as well. He's a very good kid. And if I can make more impacts like that on kids' lives, that's great. You know, my ultimate goal would be to have players who do get to play at the college level and possibly the professional level, as I dreamed to do. But I know that's not a reality. But if I can reach kids like that and get them going on the right track, then I believe I've done my job as both a coach and as a teacher. That's all I have to say about our program. You know, our outlook on this year and what we're trying to do as both a program and as people.
You want to tell us about what your first game is and what's the shape of your baseball field right now?
I was actually out on the baseball field on Saturday. It's actually in really good shape. We did some work this past fall. We got some new infield materials in. on the field. We try to put the field away as nicely as possible. That way, come spring, if we don't have time to get out there, put 3 or 4 8-hour days of work into it, we can at least have it in the best shape possible. But it actually looked pretty good. The grass was a little soft after this last frost and the snow today. I don't exactly know exactly how it would be, but I think we'll be in good shape. We get a lot of help from some parents. Two of my players now, their dad, Dave Hickman, and Kenny Hickman's brother helps us out. They roll the field every year, bringing an industrial roller to help us out. So we do get quite a bit of help working on the field. He helped us put in the new infield material. So I'm hoping our first game is next Saturday, April 5th, at home against KB. So it's coming up extremely quickly, and I'm hoping for some nicer weather towards the end of this week and into next week where we can get out and work on the field. And then from there, we are full blast into our schedule. Our second and third games are actually conference games against Benton Central, which is always a tough opponent. I believe one of the seniors was telling me, and I didn't know this part of the history of the baseball team, is the baseball team has not beaten Benton Central in over 13 years. And I think part of that has to do with the schedule and playing them so early. A lot of teams sometimes struggle with finding exactly what kind of team they are early in the season. But this year, I think I have a better readout of what team we are, and we should be better prepared for Benton Central this year, who is in their second year of having a new coach. So we played them really, really tough last year, and I think we'll be in good shape to hopefully end that losing streak against them.
We have questions? So you being a pitcher, does that give you a little extra insight on how to manage, your pitching staff?
It does. Guys are not as used to having hands-on pitching coaches, which I'm able to do now. Is I can tell them exactly this is what we're trying to do. This is how we're trying to get hitters out. This is the mentality that you have to have. That has helped tremendously. If I can say one thing, in the past couple of years, we've pitched really extremely well, and then hopefully getting other attributes, the offensive and the defensive attributes into it will help. I've also had to learn a lot of things. As not being a hitter in college, I went 4 years between high school and now coaching high school without swinging a baseball bat. So early on, some of the guys were kind of skeptical about what I was telling them to do and change, and that's been a hurdle to overcome. But now that I'm in my third year and I've had most of these guys for 3 years, who I've been able to mold, they've come to realize that as a pitcher, I know how to read a hitter and how to get them out, which then allows me to help my guys figure out exactly what's going on with them or how I would get them out, and then they have to adjust to that. So that is a nice thing to be able to do, and the guys are finally starting to realize that.
Being a young coach, does that help you or hurt you with your relationship with your players?
I think my first 2 years, it hurt a little bit because I had some guys who were kind of the mentality of he's fresh out of college and doesn't always know what he's talking about. So I think that kind of hurt a little bit my first couple of years, especially my first year I came in and had a lot of really good ball players. They didn't know how to play together as a team, and me trying to tell them how to play together as a team was not something they were used to. So that was a struggle early on, but this year's team, I have guys that stop in my classroom every single day, in between class, just to say, hey, what's up, what are we doing in practice? Guys who have been itching all year to get started. So this year, being a young coach has helped. Because those guys actually acknowledge that, yeah, I'm a young coach, but I know what I'm talking about, rather than just being the new guy who they've never heard of, fresh out of college, and actually end up.
Just briefly, a tidbit for our record in minutes. What do you teach?
I teach world history, so I'm with the sophomores, world history.
And we really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you very much.
Good luck at a fine season, and go Bombers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.